So I don't know whether this is a good thing to do, because I'm dragging a bit of Twitter, fitter, shitter, up the fucking shitter, dragging a bit of Twitter drama on to YouTube, right? And it's not something that I would normally do. But I'm going to do it in this instance because I'm slightly frustrated that I can't seem to get my point across, and also because it's not involving the usual Twitter trolls who will just deliberately misinterpret whatever you say. But a guy that I've followed for a while called Peter Ferguson, who runs a blog at Skeptic Inc. called Humanisticus. I will hopefully, if I remember, include a link down below, and he's somebody that I hold in some regard. I don't always agree with the guy, but he's not an idiot, and he's not somebody that I would just regard as a Twitter troll. So this kind of surprised me, this. So I wanted to respond to Peter here. I said I would. I said I'd make my argument on here. This is me doing that. So what set it off is that I'd watched a hangout that had lots of different people in it that was hosted by Michael Rowlands on his Skeptical Llama channel, or whatever the fuck he calls it, right? Along with Kevin Logan. And one of the guests that appeared halfway through was Kristi Winters, looking unlike she has ever looked before, as far as I'm concerned. And when I saw her, maybe it was the lighting, maybe it was the sort of foppish hair coming across, maybe it was the glasses, my immediate thought was, fucking hell, there's Roy Orbison appeared. He's come back from the dead. And every time that she spoke, of course, because in these hangouts, every time you speak, you appear again. Ah, fucking hell, it's the spit of Roy Orbison. So I'll show you a picture. This was Kristi at the hangout, and this is a picture of Roy Orbison. You tell which one's which, because the one with the little boxes at the bottom there is obviously the one that was taken of the hangout. So you can work that one out. That one's Kristi. Okay, so that was what I thought. And I haven't seen it a few times. It just tickled me, right? For some reason, it just fucking tickled me. And so I made a little tweet, and I took a screen grab, and this was what I tweeted. I put, impressed with Music Man Mike Lacey's hangout. Michael seems to have managed to convince dead singer Roy Orbison to take part. Awesome. Okay, so that was it. Michael, being the humorless cunt that he is, responded, Noel is rational that he makes fun of people's appearance. Logical. I don't really kind of know where he's going with that. The ones that I usually get are Sting or Johnny Lydon, Johnny Rotten out of the Sex Pistols. Those are the ones that I usually get. I get them fairly regularly. I don't usually regard that as a failure of logic. If somebody says to me, I've just watched your 20-minute video and listened to the arguments you've made, and I've got to say they're all wrong because you look like Johnny Rotten out of the Sex Pistols, then that would be a logical fail. But simply having a bit of a joke and saying, fucking hell, I've just logged on to YouTube and Sting's made a video on, you know, on social justice issues or something like that, then I understand that is a joke, right? Or an attempt at a joke. Tim Blake got it. Obviously, amazing comedy skills. Tim Blake being sarcastic there. He didn't find it very funny, I'm quite sure, but at least he pinpointed what was going on there. So well done, Tim. But this is where it got interesting, and where Peter Ferguson got dragged in, because I hadn't noticed it when he first tweeted it, actually, but Michael Rowlands had made another tweet. Kristi looks like man equals win. And when I read that, I thought, whoa, hang on, I don't want to be associated with this. This wasn't the point at all. Right, I'm not trying to say Kristi looks like a man, that Kristi's manly looking, that she's butch looking or something like that. It wasn't supposed to be a sneering comment. It was just an observation that tickled me, that on this occasion, just for first, I've never noticed before, I've never seen before, I thought, fucking hell, Kristi looks like Roy Orbison. But on this occasion, I thought she looked like Roy Orbison, so I wanted to clarify that. And so then I made the following response, okay? I said, no, I wasn't meant to imply that Kristi looks like a man. Still, that interpretation probably has more mileage in it for you, I suppose. Little bit of cynicism there. Peter Ferguson then piped up. You literally said she looks a man. A specific man, but that is the same thing. So this is what Peter Ferguson is saying, that if you say that somebody looks like a specific man, that is equivalent of saying to somebody, saying to a woman, you look like a man. Okay, that's what he's saying. I said, yes, but I wasn't implying she's manly looking. right? Because that was the point that I was making, but simply that she looks like Roy Orbison in The Hangout, to which he responded, I am not saying you look like a man, but you look like this specific man. That could be put under the definition of sophistry. So I'm being accused here of being the sophist. I would like you to judge for yourselves who you think is being the sophist here. I tried again. So the implication I took from Michael's tweet is that I was insulting her by saying she looked manly. That was what I was refuting. You're not an idiot, Peter. I know you can understand the difference here. To which he then responded again, please elaborate on the difference between you like a man, I think he's trying to fit it into 140 characters, and you like a specific man. Okay, so at this point I said, I'll tell you what I do. This isn't working in this format. Let me go to video so that I can do this in a slightly longer form. See if I can get my point across. Okay? Because as it stands, I'm looking at Peter Ferguson, and what he's saying to me, it sounds like I'm talking to Mr. fucking Logic out of Viz. The literal way that he's deciding to interpret this, but then saying that I'm the sophist for suggesting there's some differentiation between saying to a woman, you look like a man, and saying you look like this specific person. Okay, so it is true. Let me just go on the Mr. Logic level. It is true that Roy Orbison is a man. Was a man. He would have been 81 years old, I think, if he was still alive. He is a corpse. Roy Orbison is a corpse. And he was a Christian. So is there a difference between me saying to Kristi Winters, you look like Roy Orbison in this photo, and saying you look like a corpse, than saying you look like a Christian, than saying you look like an 81-year-old? According to Peter Ferguson, no, because I'm saying she looks like a specific Christian, and that is no different from saying you look like a Christian. She looks like a specific corpse, and that's no different from saying you look like a specific person who is a corpse, I should say, and that's no different from saying, indistinct from saying, you look like a corpse. I'm sorry, I don't fucking buy that, Peter. That is bollocks. I put it to you that when Michael Rowlands made that response, he's trying to infer from what I said that I was implying that Kristi Winters looks like a man. I wouldn't do that. Right? For a start, I don't think she looks like a man. She's hardly a fucking... No, I'm not going to go down those lines. She doesn't look like a man. Right? I've got to be candid with that, right? She does not generally look like a man. Just on this particular instance, mainly due to her hair and due to the glasses, I thought she looked like Roy Orbison. Now, it may well be. I don't know. I know you've followed me on Twitter for some time. I've followed you on Twitter for some time. But I don't know what you think of me. So maybe you think I'm going to take a worst case scenario. It doesn't matter if it's wrong. You don't need to correct me. I'm going to assume you think I'm an absolute twat. That I have no fucking moral fibre, no moral backbone whatsoever. That I'd fucking do to anything, animal, vegetable or mineral. Right. But even then, I've got to ask you, right, you must at least have seen enough of me to know... I was going to say that I've got a certain amount of common sense. Let's forget about that. Let's assume you don't even think that, right? But at least you must be able to recognise that I know how to play the game, if nothing else. And in terms simply of playing the fucking game, I have had many interactions with Kristi Winters. Now, I'm not going to blow smoke up my arse. The angles make it impossible, sat like this, in actual fact. Right? But I've got to say that when I look at those interactions with Kristi Winters, I kind of sit back and I think, yeah, I'm kind of happy with how they've gone, to be honest. I'm quite prepared to link somebody, every fucking thing Kristi's ever said or done on me, and everything I've ever done or said on Kristi, and allow them to watch it. Because I'm kind of happy with how they've gone. Why would I fuck that up? By just gifting somebody like Kristi, just gifting her a free pass by saying she looks like a man. Because what would that do? Would that harm Kristi for me to say that? Bollocks, would it? The only person... I would be shooting myself in the foot if I was to do that. There is no way, even from a purely Machiavellian self-serving perspective, surely you can understand there is no way that I would do that, Right. And I wasn't trying to do that. So maybe the reason that you were pursuing this on Twitter is because you thought, well, yeah, but he's definitely got a fucking hidden agenda here. And he's really, you know, he's trying to imply that she looks like a man. I wouldn't do that, right? I wouldn't. If I thought for a minute that somebody could genuinely, Michael Rowlands is a cunt. Forget about Michael Rowlands and his response. I wouldn't think, if I thought for a moment that anybody genuinely think that that's what I was saying, I wouldn't have tweeted it without making it absolutely clear. That's why I'm responding to what you are saying here. So yeah, maybe literally taking what I say, you've got a point, right? And I am saying that Kristi Winters looks like a Christian corpse, right? Maybe that's what I'm saying. Okay, but really, who's being the sophist here if you're going to go down those lines, Peter Ferguson? Okay, listen, I hope you do watch this. I will link you this as you asked me to do. Please leave a comment and we can carry on the discussion there if you'd like to. And in the meantime, Peter, anything you need, you got it. Anything you want, you got it. Anything at all, you got it, baby.